Call the village, is this on?
Now it is.
Now it is. Call the village board meeting to order. Can you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would the clerk call the roll, please?
President Weatherspoon.
Here.
Trustee Martin.
Here.
Trustee Pierce. Here. Trustee McManus.
Here.
Trustee Stillman.
Here.
Trustee Lambert.
Here.
Trustee Wishaw.
Here.
Approval of minutes from the village board of December 22nd. I have a motion, please.
I'll move to approve.
Thank you.
Second it.
Brandon Dale, is that right?
Yes.
Any comments on those board minutes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. Public comment. At this time, we provide 2-minute opportunity for citizens to voice their opinions to the village board. The village board cannot respond as it may conflict with open meeting requirements. Anybody here would like to approach the bench, name and address? Seeing nobody moving, we'll move on. We're going to, and forgive us, audience people, we're going to go into a closed session, but it won't be very long, and then we'll have you come back in here for the rest of the meeting. So the village board is going to go into a closed session. The village board may take up a motion to go into close pursuant to 19.85, 1E, Wisconsin statutes deliberating and negotiating the purchase of public properties, investing in public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. And S 19.851G, Wisconsin statutes conferring with legal counsel for the government body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is likely to become involved in, specifically CCM Caledonia LLC and Cardinal Capital Management Development Agreement and CCM Caledonia and Cardinal Capital Management Incorporated Loan Agreement. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
I'll
Thank-
second.
Nancy, thank you. A roll call, please.
President Weatherspoon.
Yes.
Trustee Martin.
Here. Yes.
Trustee McManus.
Yes.
Trustee Stillman.
Yes.
Trustee Wishaw.
Yes.
Trustee Lambert.
Yes.
And Trustee Pierce.
Yes.
Okay.
I think you're right. I think, because we had them here, I thought. The principals. I think they were here.
Okay. For an open session.
Yeah, I didn't realize parcels were.
What? Oh, I know. Oh, well. And how
Yeah, I
this
don't know
is
what
going.
happened to that wheel.
I think until we get a plan, until we get something that we can.
The other could be.
Probably is.
Oh, yeah. No, I believe that, yeah.
You're recording. Let's stop talking about that.
Do we want the top back? Did we still?
We're in
Yeah,
open
that's right.
session. What'd you do with Father Dale?
Steve took a break. Oh, taking a break.
remember that signal?
Oh, this, he did this? Back in open session. Item 7A is a proclamation. Our deputy chief, police chief has retired. And I know he's not here tonight, but I'll read the proclamation anyways. It says, whereas Deputy Chief Engelman has served the Village of Caledonia as a dedicated member of the Village of Caledonia Police Department since August 3, 2020, and whereas during his time with the Village of Caledonia Police Department, Deputy Chief Engelman used his knowledge and leadership skills to assist in planning and coordinating major projects and initiatives such as the construction of a new public safety building, the passage of public safety referendums to hire 8 additional police officers, and significant increase emphasis on community policing. Whereas Deputy Chief Engelman has performed essential duties within the Caledonia Police Department, such as leading the efforts of recruiting and hiring scheduling, overseeing community programs and initiatives to include our community surveys, annual reports, and various community engagement activities, providing ongoing leadership and guidance to subordinate personnel, helping to ensure adherence to policies, procedures, and programs that maintain the integrity of the department and the safety of the village citizens, along with many other tasks, projects, and initiatives. Whereas Deputy Chief Engelman participated in various professional associations and served on many boards and committees in efforts to build and maintain professional connections between the geographic borders of Caledonia and to improve his ability to lead, including membership in the Racine County Law Enforcement Executives Association, the Wisconsin Crime Prevention Practitioners Association, and many others. Therefore, is resolved that by the Caledonia Board, that the proclamation acknowledges the tireless efforts and outstanding work of Sean Engelman as a member of the Caledonia Police Department for the last 5 years as Deputy Chief of Police, and with great admiration and commends for him the dedication and betterment of our community. Given under our hand with the official village sealed on the 13th day of January 2026 at the Village Hall of the Village of Caledonia, and it's signed by myself and the clerk. Sean was a great employee here, and we'll miss him. And he's the kind of guy that makes you think that cops can be nice guys. So,
Hey,
yeah, I'm sorry. So we will miss him.
Wait a minute.
And he moved up north where he's, I don't know, Chief, did he get another job as a policeman up there? He's not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. He's still working on it, but we will miss him. So Sean, good luck to you. Okay, with that, we'll move on to ordinances and resolutions. 8A, Charter Ordinance 2026-01, a charter ordinance to amend Section 2-5-8 of the Village Code and ordinances related to the Caledonia Utility Districts Commissions. Can I have a motion on this item, please?
I'll move to amend Charter Ordinance 2026-01.
Thank you.
I understand changes the number of commissioners from 7 to 5.
Yeah,
Wait a minute, second. I'll
we have a
second.
motion and a second. We did do that, Fran. We changed the number of commissioners a long time ago and never codified it.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure because the strike-through copy doesn't show the 7.
Okay.
So it was hard, it was just a little hard to tell that this was just cleaning up the 5.
Any other comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I need a roll call vote.
You
'cause
need
it's
a roll call,
charter
okay.
ordinance.
Roll call vote, please.
And it's got to be passed by a 2/3 vote. President Weatherspoon.
Yes?
Trustee Martin.
Yes.
Trustee McManus.
Yes.
Trustee Stillman.
Yes.
Trustee Wishaw.
Yes.
Trustee Lambert.
Yes.
And Trustee Pierce.
Yes.
Is that only for this one?
Because it's a charter ordinance.
Oh, because it's a charter, I'm sorry. Thank you for Resolution 2026-02. No, there's 201s on here. Why is there two?
One.
That was the ordinance.
One.
This is the resolution.
Oh, this is a resolution, I'm sorry. Resolution 2026-001, approving a paid parental leave policy. Can I have a motion on this item, please?
Make a
To
mo-
approve,
Go ahead.
move to approve Resolution 2026.
Thank you, Fran. And Holly, you're
I'll
going to second
second it.
that?
How about that?
Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is approved. Resolution 2026-002, approving the use of village vehicle policy. Can I have a motion on this item, please?
I'll make a motion that we adopt Resolution 2026-002.
Thank you, Mike.
I'll second it.
Dale, any discussion on this item?
Oh, I'm afraid so.
Go ahead.
And actually, Amanda and I have had some talk, and she sent some materials to me today, which I think we need to have time to look at and get further into, because I have done a little more work. So the challenge here is, the goal is to encourage employees not to use their private vehicles for company business, which is a good move. The challenge comes in the private policy, insurance auto policy versus the village policy. If you try to put this underneath, tell the employee you got to use your private automobile insurance, it's going to get excluded because of business usage, unless they have an endorsement on their policy. Also, the way this is written and what CIVMIC, and I'm hoping Amanda jump in if I misstate it, CIVMIC has said, well, if they use their vehicle, we'll pay up to $500 of their deductible, but they then become responsible for any damage to their car over and above that. with the idea that you get mileage, so therefore that's supposed to help, but it leaves them exposed. There's also, CIVMIC, if I understood it correctly, said the person's individual policy should step forward first on the case of liability. Again, that business usage exclusion is going to step in there. And my concern is, do we understand the gap? So my thought would be, could we lay this over to the next meeting and allow
So
Todd and Amanda
the
and
reason
everyone?
this came up is because we are trying to enact something. We don't have any sort of vehicle policy right now. So the only things that people cannot do in village vehicles is smoke, drink, and have a gun, excluding police.
Let's say, wait a minute.
So that's the only things that they cannot do in a village vehicle. The reason this is being brought up is because we want to ensure that people are not taking family members in cars. People are not texting while driving. People are not going to locations that they are not supposed to go to, and they are following legal laws. So that's where this is coming from. This is not, there's going to be additional language that is added to the personnel manual because we found that things were removed that should not have been removed, and legal was not made aware of it in 2021. So there's going to be additional going back in about when it comes to mileage reimbursement, and that's where the personal vehicle is going to be used. This is specifically pretty much in its entirety about what you are allowed to do in a village vehicle and while you're using a personal vehicle on village vehicle time. That's what the focus of this policy is saying you can do this in a vehicle, you cannot do this in a vehicle, which protects us because it's technically the village's cars, and it's protecting the village itself, the integrity of the village, as well as all the citizens.
Shouldn't, though, we address the issue that Nancy is talking about so that there's not a gap in coverage? Shouldn't we know
But that wouldn't be part of this. This is when they're using vehicles, what they're allowed to do in them.
But it doesn't, I'm trying to bring it up right now. It says private, if you're using the car, your private car. That was what started my whole question. And I'm trying, like I said, I'm trying to bring it up. Here it is. There's the,
So you're focused on the one line that says personal vehicles used for village business must have appropriate insurance coverage. Personal auto insurance is the sole responsibility of the employee. However, it purposely says that employees will not be allowed to operate personal vehicles on village business without proper approval. So that would only be in an instance where they have approval from their manager. That would be things that we look at before that approval is given. From that standpoint, until we have that process laid out, it's a moot point. That is in there to be able to protect the village that says they have to have coverage. Because what the last thing we want to do is have somebody going out in the world driving a personal vehicle with no insurance coverage whatsoever, and all of a sudden we are on the hook for everything.
but effectively they do. If there's an exclusion on their personal policy for business usage of an automobile, it is the same as having no coverage at all.
Either way, we are saying that they have to have the approval. So us talking about what they have on their personal vehicle insurance coverage is a moot point, because until that moment happens where we have an understanding of that, we aren't going to approve them to necessarily use a personal vehicle. This is trying to get it just that people aren't texting while driving, aren't causing accidents at the corner of 4 Mile and Douglas, aren't causing accidents happening other places, aren't being distracted while driving in a village vehicle.
I think there's no disagreement about the intent of it, as I understand it, Amanda, that we all agree that people should not be texting or drinking or do whatever they're doing in the vehicle. The issue is there coverage and is there a gap? And I don't know, why can't we approve this subject to legal review to ensure that there is no gap in coverage?
Well, there wouldn't be a gap in coverage because as the policy is written, you'd be required to use a village vehicle. So if you are a village employee and you need to drive or go somewhere on village time, you will be directed to use an available village vehicle. So then those are all covered by CIVMIC, our insurance provider. And that's really the basis of the policy. The policy is we don't want people driving their personal vehicle, which then leads to the language that Amanda just read that said, if you are going, you basically are going to have to schedule that you're going somewhere and that you need to use a vehicle. And then in that instance, you will go to your manager and say, is there a vehicle available? As those moments arise, we have bi-weekly village department head meetings. So then it becomes kind of the talking point of, I have an employee, they need to go to A, B, or C, and they need a village vehicle, and we as a group define and make sure that there is a vehicle available for them, and they are using a Village of Caledonia vehicle rather than their personal vehicle.
Right, but here's the language question in here, and it says, personal vehicles used for village business must have appropriate insurance coverage. Personal auto insurance is the sole responsibility of the employee. If a personal vehicle is used, the employee takes all responsibility for insurance, and under that business exclusion, they can't have insurance coverage, which
And I-
leaves us wide. Now, I also understood, Amanda, we do not have with CIVMC a non-owned endorsement that would step in and provide coverage in those rare instances. But like I said, I only got that at 3 o'clock, so I haven't read it completely. Because if we had a non-owned endorsement under our policy, it would say, if they did take it, even if it was outside policy, it was business usage, it would step in and provide liability and property damage coverage.
So they would provide liability coverage. So that's where because it would be on an employee's time, first of all. So workers, I'll go over the 3 different policies that CIVMC reviewed of me today because I was on the phone with them for an hour. Workers' comp, if somebody would get injured in their personal vehicle, they're still on work time, they're still within the scope of their position, they would be covered. Auto physical damage, so collision and comprehensive for village-owned / leased vehicles, that's what it covers. CIVMC does not provide insurance for a personal vehicle. It would only apply to fleet vehicles that are registered within their system. But there's also an auto extension on the policies that would apply to personal vehicles. So that's where CIVMC would pay the deductible or $500, whichever number is less. So everything else would fall on the burden of the employee if there are additional costs. So they would pay up to $500. But the thing to note about that is with IRS mileage reimbursement, part of the rate is meant for wear and tear. The reason people get mileage is for wear and tear, insurance, potential damage, etc., to use their car. The third part is liability, which would be injury and damage to third party. So CIVMC provides excess coverage over any existing coverage, which means they are a secondary insurance for personal vehicles. So if an employee doesn't have coverage, that's where CIVMC would become the primary. So this puts the village at risk for the first $37,500. So the $37,500 would be what we would pay if a village vehicle would be in an accident. But if an employee has coverage, their insurance would be primary, and then CIVMC would kick in. In these scenarios, the employee would pay their deductible, and then the village would pay up to $37,500, and then CIVMC would cover the rest. So that's where
Liability.
that comes into play. So with that being said, I have the numbers that is recommended by CIVMC, so by their manager of products and risk management. The suggested minimum personal auto coverage and limits the employee should carry prior to be reimbursed. So this is where we would require them, if they're going to use a personal vehicle, to provide proof of their insurance coverage potentially before being able to use their vehicle / have the coverage. Liability would be $100,000 per person or $300,000 per accident. Property damage would be $100,000 per accident. Uninsured, underinsured motorist, $100,000 / $300,000 to match liability. Medical payments, $5,000 minimum, and collision and comprehensive would be included. So that's what is coming directly from the manager of products and risk management.
And I appreciate that, but again, the exclusion under your private automobile policy for business usage is going to mean it's null and void coverage on the private side.
And I would add that
And that's
I
why I
don't,
said,
I
can we
don't see
lay
an
this
instance
over?
where we're going to approve somebody to use their personal vehicle until any of
They have
these
that.
other elements are in place. The purpose of the policy is that you're going to use a village vehicle when you are on village time.
Couldn't we just have that policy that personal vehicles are not to be used?
That's why it says, so the reason why it says in there that it would be in the scope of approving by the manager is because if there is a reason why I would have to take it to go talk to the highway, if Todd would have to go take his personal to go to a meeting, that's where the approval would come into play of being able to use your personal, because if there's nothing available and you have to get somewhere in an emergent basis and there's no vehicles available, that's where it come into play.
But that's exactly where all this business exclusion and the gap in coverage comes. That's why I'm suggesting,
Elaine address
I
that?
like the concept of why we're doing this. Could we lay this over so we could have more discussion around this?
The
Just to make
issue
sure
is-
we've looked all the gaps.
The issue is that right now, if an employee texts while drives and we catch them, I cannot fire them. If an employee has a person in their vehicle, I cannot discipline them in any capacity
So,
until we have a policy in place.
How about if we approve it, subject to review by council to ensure full insurance coverage?
This was reviewed by council, so I've reviewed it with Jill Hall, which Elaine can attest to her abilities, and I've reviewed it with Civmec. We have no gap in coverage here. They've reviewed it all with me.
The individual has the gap in coverage, which puts the village at full liability. That's the challenge piece.
No.
Elaine,
And
What if
that's
we
where
just
it would
prove-
be up to manager approval. It's not saying, yes, we want to have everyone take their personal vehicles. That's not what we're saying.
I'm not saying that.
All right, we're gonna call the vote. We have a motion on the floor to approve the new vehicle policy. I'm gonna ask for a roll call vote. Sorry, didn't mean to dump that on you.
You're right. I think But Elaine, could you assure us that
Okay.
the
All
gap
right,
in
call the
coverage
vote.
doesn't exist?
President Weatherspoon.
Yes,
Trustee Martin.
Go on to the next person, I'm still thinking.
Trustee McManus.
yes,
Trustee Stillman.
Yes.
Trustee Wishaw.
No.
Trustee Lambert.
Yep.
Trustee Pierce.
No.
Trustee Martin.
I guess I'm a no. I wish we could do it subject to review by council to
Yeah.
ensure there's no gap.
All right,
There's
so
just more to look into.
For the individual.
Yep. And just to clear this for the board, I have not reviewed this policy because your HR director was working with employment counsel, and it would be consistent with having employment counsel review it. I haven't talked to employment counsel about it, Attorney Hall, but if she's reviewed it and gave it her blessing, I would ask you to defer to that. I'm not an insurance specialist, so I can't answer your question about the insurance questions that you're asking.
all right, so that carried 4-3. We're gonna move on to resolution 2026-003,
We just screwed ourselves.
approving an alcohol and drug testing policy. Can I have a motion on this item?
do I dare make
Yeah.
a motion to,
I don't know.
to
Holly, you're
approve
gonna to approve. and-
resolution 2026-003?
And who would like to second that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Dale. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries. Resolution 2026-004, approving and authorizing the Village of Caledonia to establish a bank depository lockbox account with Wintrust for EMS and ambulance billing services. Can I have a motion on this item, please?
I'll move to approve resolution 2026-004.
Thank you, Fran.
Second.
Holly, any discussion on this item? I think we all know what this is. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Resolution carries. Resolution 2026-005, authorizing the Village of Caledonia into entering a contract with Tyler Technologies Incorporated for assessor services. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-005.
Thank you, Nancy.
I'll second it.
Dale, thank you. Any discussion on this item?
I
I
have a
do have a
question.
question.
Well, wait a minute.
Mr.
Let it go.
Wishaw has a question. Go ahead, Mr.
Uh,
Wishaw.
In the past, we didn't used to do a full assessment review every year. Is that what this is? I didn't get a chance to go through the exact details here. We used to do an annual update or a limited update on a biannual basis, not an entire update.
Yeah, this is for our assessment each year. We have been doing this for the past, I believe, 6 years, doing an annual assessment.
I understand that, but I guess the discussion should be, do we really need to do an annual assessment, the full assessment every year? We didn't, like I said, in the past, before, many years ago, we never used to do it this way. I
Right.
don't understand why we have to do a full assessment every year.
Well, it benefits the village because, of course, if property values are increasing every year, the village is getting the benefit of taxes on the new assessed values.
Yeah.
It does value the residents in case the market softens and property taxes go down or assessments go down, then the residents receive the benefit of that decrease.
Yeah, well, that's debatable. When they were here a couple of years ago, I asked them, when Do you ever lower the assessment values? And he sheepishly admitted, no. So that's not gonna happen.
It happens. I've seen it happen on tax bills, even this
Okay,
year.
all right, I'm not gonna
Some
argue
people
with
go
you.
up, some people
I-
go down.
Yeah.
All
Lee,
right.
I do remember that one of those things being, because I was part of that too, is that the shock value of the 5-year
I-
assessment
Yeah.
versus the every year too.
I understand that. I just,
I just remember that being a reason why
Yeah.
we did it too.
I'm not saying extend it to 5 years, but I don't know that we need to do it every year.
Maybe every 3.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I
so
would do.
the question is, what's the tax benefit versus the cost of doing this?
Exactly.
Because this technology is pretty darn expensive.
It is.
So what we're doing is saying we're looking for more tax dollars by increasing the assessment value,
Just a note on their cost of their assessments.
right?
They did reduce their prices after COVID hit. So we actually, in this new contract, are paying the prices we're paying pre-COVID. So
Okay.
Well, I'll be okay with this, but I think in the future, we need to have a little bit more discussion on this than automatically just go ahead and doing this. I'd like to put some numbers to this and make sure it really makes sense. And I
Okay,
think-
so
I do have one question.
we have a motion on the floor to
No.
approve. All in-
Fran's
Tom, I have a question, because there's 2 parts to this, as I understand it. One is paying for their assessment every year, but then the second part is paying for an updated valuation. Aren't we sort of paying twice for the same thing?
no, that's what we've been talking about, Lee, and what Lee's been referring to is the annual revaluation, or that part could be.
Yeah, that microphone just went out.
Right, so we could have them do an assessment annually.
No.
I mean, as they're doing now, but we wouldn't have to also update the valuation annually, am I right? That seems like duplication.
Well, it's not duplication because one part is the annual work that the assessor is doing, that leads up to creating the assessed values and things
Right.
like that. The other one is the revaluation each year that we're paying for, which is the smaller portion of the contract. That's the part that if the board chooses in the future, we could, make it every 2 years or 3 years. But you do run the risk of giant increases. I know the community outside of Oshkosh, they hadn't done one for 10 years, which is
Oh,
again,
well.
violation of state statute, but that's another problem they have. But their assessments went up 70%.
I see the pain of it, and I understand what Holly's saying too, but maybe we can look at that in future.
Why don't we look at it now?
We can approve this, but I think we ought to look at,
This is a 3-year contract.
Yeah, why don't we look at it now and suggest going to 2
Okay,
years?
so we have a motion to approve. I'm going to call the
Do that.
vote. All in favor, say aye.
I-
Aye. Opposed? Resolution carries. Thank you, everybody. 2026-06, authorize the Village of Caledonia to enter into an agreement with Caledonia Highway Department Local 704 for 2026. I'll make the motion to approve. If somebody else would like to.
second motion.
Tom and Dale, any discussion on this item?
no, that's a union contract that was negotiated,
Yes, a
right?
contract.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution carries. Resolution 2026-07, authorizing the Village of Caledonia to execute a partial release of the development agreement in TID 4 with TI Investors of Caledonia LLC for the Lot 4 of the certified survey map. Can I have a motion on this item, please? And I know we're going to discuss this, so.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-007.
Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay, so I had to ask about this too. So what's going on here is in TID 4, the building that the cheese company's in that building is being sold to a new owner. So what we're really doing, and correct me if I get this wrong, Elaine, is we're transferring the obligation of the TID from one owner to another. And maybe that's oversimplifying.
Sort of.
All right,
So,
sort of, go ahead.
First, that there's a potential for the building to be sold, but what's important is that the facility on this particular lot 4 is completed, And Zilber, the developer, through TI Investors, has completed their obligations with respect to this lot. What would be happening, and we've done this in other developments, where you release this particular lot from the obligations of the development agreement, except for a couple things. One is the tax exempt covenant. It needs to remain a taxable property because that's what fuels the TID. And then two, the obligations with respect to the development agreement to TI Investors, which is the Zilber entity, remain, and those include the obligations to create and meet certain guaranteed minimum assessed values. Those are still applicable. The PAYGO that is attributable to not just this lot, but the other lots within the development still gets accumulated and shared in accordance with the development agreement. And then the developer still has obligations that if for some reason the guaranteed minimum assessed values fall, there are shortfall obligations that stay with Zilber, the developer of the overall parcel. So this just allows the potential for that facility to go to a future end user with the main developer still staying on the hook. So this development is doing great, so we're happy about that, and we would support approval of this partial release. We've done this with Scanell, we've done this in the DeBack Farms Business Park, so it's the same form, essentially, that you've seen before. There were a couple of minor tweaks to the form that I passed out to you today. Nothing substantive. The important features that I just indicated are still the same in that document.
Thank you, Elaine.
You're welcome.
That's
Is
a lot
the
more
new
legal
owner
than I had it.
liable, but just secondarily liable, or
The new owner does not take on any of the obligations under the development agreement. Those remain with the primary developer, Zilber, but they do have to comply with the tax exempt covenant, so it has to always remain for the life of the TID as a taxable property, meaning a tax exempt entity could not come in there and buy it. But if they did, then they would have to pay a payment in lieu of taxes so that you still have that tax increment coming in off the value of that parcel.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Could we get these a little earlier than a few hours before the meeting next time, maybe?
Apologize.
Yeah.
I didn't get the actual draft partial release until the end of last week, and I was on
You were gone.
vacation.
I
I turned it around on Monday as fast as I could.
appreciate that. I just think, trying to get stuff to us because we have to get our brains around it.
Okay, so moving on, new business, approval AP checks. Mr. Wishaw, if you would, please.
Mr. President, I move to approve AP checks totaling the $1,442,128.68.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
You got questions?
I'm good.
Seeing none.
I had a question. I think I know part of the answer. Cellbrite, 11,140 annual service, but that's the police department's
Yes.
IT stuff, correct? All right, and then we had Convergent server relocation for 1,900, and we also had OnTech for 24,000 to replace. It just seems like our IT expenses are just going out the window. As that we thought we had a whole new system in there. Do we not have a good system?
Chief, did you want to comment?
Well, that's beyond his.
No. it was-
I can speak unless you want to, Todd. It doesn't matter to me.
If you want to speak on the Cellbrite, that's,
Well,
Sure.
Cellbrite's no problem. I confirm
Okay.
that's just.
well, then I can handle the other question regarding, so the Convergent invoice is to move from a physical server into a virtualized environment so that we're eliminating an actual physical server.
Okay.
There will also be a fee coming to also move the Generac software into a virtual environment. These are the security cameras and the door access controls.
Okay.
The OnTech bill that you're referring to, that's part of the 2025 server project. That was all budgeted as part of that project.
Thanks.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, discussion on possible action for village board and committee of the whole meeting days. So that recommended by staff to move from the second and fourth Tuesdays to the first and third Tuesdays. Wayne, did you want to add anything to that?
Yes, please.
Holly wants you to explain.
Why?
Yeah.
One piece is, it's a two thing that, where it would assist is when we get our bills at the end of the month from many vendors, to get those bills processed, we always miss the first meeting.
Oh.
And then, so then they're actually waiting for their check till after the second meeting during the month, and then we cut the checks the next day or the day after. So they're, the soonest they get their check is probably like day 28 or 29 of their billing period. So if we move them up for the first and third, we would be able to give them their money, a week sooner. Then the other portion that this would assist with is if we switch the meeting dates, right now they're currently conflicting with the Village of Union Grove, and our staff accountant is a trustee, our Union Grove trustee. And that would allow her to come and attend the meetings here also so that she can get more of a feel of the big picture for transition down the road.
Would we have a gap of 3 weeks or
What,
2 meetings a week?
our clerk has a plan on how we can swing this, if you'd like to hear that, Fran?
Yeah.
Okay, tell us, Madam Clerk.
Okay, so I think what we discussed during, when we talked about this, we were going to we're going to have a meeting on the 27th, so 2 weeks from now. We'll still have that meeting, but we're not going to have it on the 3rd and the 10th. We'll go then to the 24th. Was that what we decided? 17th.
17.
Go
Of
to,
March.
what were those last
Right,
two?
so we won't have a meeting on the 3rd or the 10th. We'll have it on the 17th and then the 3rd of March.
What? That leaves us
No,
with
that's
only
not what
one
you just
meeting?
said.
It would be one meeting in February, but it's only a gap of 2 weeks, which we do have 4 times a year.
Okay, so it would be February
Let me get
27th.
that down again.
No, February 17th. February 17th.
Okay, so
Holy-
January 27th,
January
January
20,
27th.
January
Oh, okay.
27th.
February 17th, March 3rd.
And then there'd be another one 2 weeks later. in
Now I wrote it
March.
down. That was, that's
Okay.
March 3rd, March 17th.
Oh, St. Patrick's Day.
So we went back to the historical files that used to be on the first and
Yeah.
third.
it was.
I don't think only Lee and I would know that.
And it wasn't it Mondays?
However,
though?
I
They
did
were on
want to,
Mondays.
I did want to point out one additional thing. So there will be conflicts with elections on this cycle. So the April election and the November election will have to move that village board day to the day before or
We can do
something.
that. We can accommodate that.
So, can we have a motion to do that, please?
Mr. President,
Yes.
just a couple of thoughts. Two things. When you moved the meeting dates, I don't know, about 4 years ago, I think it was 3 or
Yeah.
4 years ago. And maybe Pete would have some input. Well, part of the conversation was dealing with your plan commission meeting and how that was
Yeah,
gonna
that's
flow
why I
through
was-
to your board. So
We've
If
already
you-
worked that out with Pete. He's
you
gonna move it.
have.
Holly's
Okay.
gonna move her committee. to the
Whoa, hold on.
Hold on.
south. Holly's gonna propose to her committee that they move.
Because now we got to move the parks as well. Well, we will because of schedules. So, okay.
Okay?
What does
Yeah.
this do for planning, Pete?
I just want to check. It doesn't really impact planning as much in the fact that we always have the plan commission meeting on the last Monday. And typically, we always would wait to the second week of the following month for village board. And now would be the third week. So there'd be a larger, a 1 week extension. And with the fact that, there are times when there are controversial developments between plan commission and village board, that would provide additional time for the board to process whatever decision was made at the plan commission. If there was any public, engagement that wanted to come, they would have additional time to prepare for the village board meeting approving any plan commission. So it would create a larger time frame, but by just a week. Most projects shouldn't be impacted greatly by that extension of a week. We really do have a compressed review process right now compared to other communities in the area. So adding that one extra week should not be
So this should
problematic.
actually almost be helpful to
I
you.
think
It could
so.
be, especially if we have controversial
Right.
topics
Okay.
that would give extra time.
We need a motion.
The last.
I need
the-
a motion.
Wait a
The
minute.
last comment, just so that in full disclosure to the board, I have meetings on the first and third Tuesdays for another city that I'm the attorney for. I've talked with other members of my firm, and we would probably, to the extent that you want legal at meetings, and sometimes I think it's needed, sometimes it's maybe not absolutely necessary, so we could work on that, but it would sometimes be me, or perhaps it would be Rebecca from my office, Rebecca Shepro, who's been here, who you're becoming familiar with, or Attorney Chris Geary as well. So we would work that out for coverage to make sure that that you have that, but just so that you know, it might not always be me sitting at this table when you're requesting legal to attend.
As long as we have coverage.
We want a lane.
I still need a motion to change it.
I'll make a,
We'll move to change the regular board meeting days
And committee of the whole.
and committee of the whole to the first and third Tuesdays of each month.
A motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
I just want, we're not changing utility, right? First Wednesday of, other than this month, which is the third Thursday.
Let's make it more confusing. You're good. So we have a motion. I can count. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you, everybody. Yeah, good. Well, we're gonna go, before we go into the committee of the whole, which you're all welcome to stay for, we have one more closed session. I'm not gonna promise you this time it's gonna be short, because I don't know, but, so the village board will take a motion, go into closed session pursuant to 19.851C Wisconsin statutes, considering employment, promotion, compensation, performance, evaluation, data of any public employee over the governmental body which has jurisdiction of responsibility, specifically the administrator's review.
Jen, can you send us an email with the new dates for the meeting?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
President Weatherspoon.
President Weatherston.
Yes.
Trustee Martin.
Yes?
Trustee McManus.
Yes.
Trustee Stillman.
Yes.
Trustee Wishaw.
Yes.
Trustee Lambrick.
Yes.
Trustee Pierce.
yes.
We are closed. Let me stop the recording.
Did you have? We'll call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Didn't close out. Other one. I need a motion to go back into open and then.
I'll make a motion to go into open.
No, Dale did that. I seconded it.
We voted.
Yeah.
Generally like to do that when we go back.
Sorry.
Okay.
I forgot you weren't in the room to record
Okay,
it.
so Dale, and then who did the second?
Me. Holly.
And we are now adjourned.